With me now is Frances Fox Piven, a leading thinker on the left for decades and whose work includes seminal writings about poverty in America. She's a professor of political science at the City University of New York. You're getting death threats, we hear. Can you tell us quickly about that?
I think the death threats escalated, at least, after I wrote an article. It was a short essay trying to examine why the unemployed were not protesting, why they weren't doing what they had done during earlier periods of very serious unemployment, which was marching, rallying.
I stumbled on a great book, A History of America's Unemployed, by the late Franklin Folsom. 50 years in the making and rejected by 57 publishers until the University of Colorado took it on. What a story it tells. Folsom treats the unemployed as an American identity group with its own heroic and crucial history. A social and political drama long hidden, lost, obscured. Severe mass unemployment struck regularly before the 1930s. Desperate people hit the road together to demand help and seek work. They organized themselves into armies. Writer Jack London was one of the many soldiers. In the 1870s and in the famous Depression of 1894, armies of the unemployed became common. Folsom traces 40 armies in 1894 alone. Kelly's army from San Francisco requisitioned its own transportation, thanks to these two supporters, who stole them a train. Coxey's army was led by a businessman from Ohio, an economic visionary who put his daughter on a white horse at the head of the column and named his son Legal Tender. Coxey's quixotic march to D.C. to demand direct government public works jobs attracted huge attention in the press. When the straggling remains did finally arrive in D.C., Coxey was arrested for walking on the grass. Nowadays, Coxey is mostly invoked as a kind of embodiment of failure. And yet, Coxey's army was the nation's very first march on Washington. And the ideas it planted flowered 40 years later in the New Deal. We may owe one other important thing to Coxey's army. The army was witnessed by one L. Frank Baum. Did our beloved ragtag band actually start out as a bunch of out-of-work Americans? Desperate factory workers embodied by the rusty tin man. Farmhands by the scarecrow. And Dorothy, brave Dorothy Gale, an out-of-work American who just wanted her country back. The hard times and the armies continued to reappear. But the unemployed army that eclipses all the others was the famous bonus army of 1932. 18,000 veterans of bloody World War I came to occupy D.C. They came to beg Congress to make early payment of their promised bonuses to save them from destitution. We have to play this song now. It was inspired by the bonus army, and it's the eternal anthem of the unemployed.
Brother, can you spare a dime? What's in khaki suits?
They set up camp in a huge Hooverville. As Congress deliberated, they marched in circles around and around the Capitol. But the Senate voted no. The president didn't cite sanitary conditions or tents unprotected by First Amendment rights, but he called in his army to rout its own vets. Douglas MacArthur, went beyond his orders with unmistakable zeal, giving the occupiers a brutal reminder of gas, bayonets, and tanks. The army with jobs torched the army without them. When it was all over, there were at least 4 occupiers dead.
So we'd like you to keep your promise to us, if you please, sir.
Not so fast! Not so fast! I'll have to give the matter a little thought. Go away and come back tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
What would you say to President Obama if you had a chance to talk to him?
I know exactly what I would say to President Obama. I would tell him today, you actually have the legal power to sign an executive order for an emergency or crisis. This is a crisis.
If you were really great and powerful, you'd keep your promises.
2 weeks ago, you said, don't blame Wall Street, don't blame the big banks. If you don't have a job and you're not rich, blame yourself. That was 2 weeks ago. The movement has grown. Do you still say that?
Yes, I do still say that. And here's why.
Went slogging through hell. I was the kid with a drum. Say, don't you remember? They called me Al. It was Al all the time. Say, don't you remember? I'm the guy.